Hey everyone, welcome to the channel and another review. I just got back from the theater and seeing X, so let's talk about it. And as always, we just start off with a brief synopsis. So for this movie, in 1979, a group of young filmmakers set out to make an adult film in rural Texas. But when their reclusive elderly hosts catch them in the act, the cast finds themselves fighting for their lives. So just a bit of background, or like my anticipation level going into this movie. I've seen trailers for this played in front of, films recently for the last month or two, I'd say. So I've been aware that this film is coming out. It looked interesting enough. I mean, I'm not a big fan of horror. I go to see them when they come out if they seem like they're going to be good, or if they are if they're getting good reviews. But yeah, this one, so I've been growing a bit more accustomed to horror films. We'll just put it that way. So this one, yeah, I was interested enough to check it out, but not one that I was terribly looking forward to. Yeah, but with that, let's just get into my thoughts on the movie. So we'll divide it up into what I liked and what I didn't like. And first off, for what I liked, it's the plot of this film is actually, I mean, it's not the best plot ever, but it's got more of a plot than I think most horror films have. And while there's like a sort of cheesiness mixed in there because it's telling the story about people making an adult film, which I think lends itself to being kind of cheesy. The what's there on top of that, or like the movie that's actually made, is I think I thought it had a good plot and an interesting story, and kind of had reasons for why the killing was done, other than the fact that the killer was just, a whack job crazy. So they mean, don't get me wrong, the killing is still whack job crazy, but there's a little bit more of a reason, which I thought was really interesting, and it's not something that I'd seen before. So I enjoyed that part of the film. I also thought the acting was very good across the board. I think the yeah, one cast member in particular, Jenna Ortega, she's been in 3 horror films already this year, which I she does a really good job of playing a very scary character. Like, very, very believable. So hopefully, though, she'll get some other work outside of horror films, so she doesn't just, kind of get stereotypically cast. But that's not a knock against her acting. That she did a very good job, as she did in Scream and in Studio 666. So the cast, I thought, did a good job of playing the characters they were playing. The Yeah, I don't know that they required a whole lot of acting. It's not going to be like Oscar caliber acting, but it was good for, the story that was being told. There were a couple times where the movie got a little bit meta, and I appreciated that. It's certainly not to the level of Scream, but the in the crew that's making the film within the movie, the cinematographer is saying like, "Oh, we're gonna make a." He's like, I'm like, I got on this project because we're gonna make a good dirty movie, and like he's thinking that it's gonna be good cinema, and that's why he got involved. And it's a little comical because it's still not. Like the story of the film that they're making inside the movie is just not. Yeah, and I'm like, no, this is not cinema. But you can keep thinking that. But I thought it was interesting because I thought what they did actually make the film as a whole, the one that we watched, not the one that they're making inside the film, is I would say qualifies as a good dirty movie. So the the cinematography was really well done, and like the sound design and everything I thought was wrapped up in a nice neat package as a horror film. Another thing I really liked is how the film started. So it starts after the fact of basically all the events, with the police coming and finding the scene that's left behind. And we don't see the identities of any dead bodies, but we see a few dead bodies. And I thought it was really interesting because you know that people are gonna die, and you kind of know the locations where they're gonna die. So some of them, like as you're going throughout the movie, you're like, okay, I've seen this person get killed, but that wasn't where we saw some others. So you kind of know that a few more people have to die, and you're left wondering kind of who it's going to be as people start getting killed off. So I thought that actually really enhanced the movie to have that opening scene that way. And yeah, other things, I thought the music was very appropriate for the film, very, very eerie. There's a few jump scares. Well, I don't know if they're necessarily jump scares. There's a few very tense scenes that definitely had me on the edge of my seat, and that's the part of horror movies that I don't like in the least. I know, like, nobody really enjoys that, but they kind of enjoy the adrenaline that comes with that, but I don't really enjoy that at all. But I made it through fine enough. There's just a few. The plot gets it gets fairly disturbing overall, as I think a lot of horror is and should be. There's definitely several gruesome kills, and so I think if that's what you're looking for in a horror movie, it's got some of that. Maybe not the best kills ever, but it's got some good ones. And then lastly, kind of just about going into spoilers, I thought that the film and kind of its commentary a little bit reminded me of Arsenic and Old Lace, if that's a play or movie that you've seen. Not to really go into any more spoilers than that. That's all I'll say. But I was definitely getting some vibes of that throughout the film. So that's those are all the things that I liked. Now for the things that I didn't care for as much, as a horror film, as they typically go, this film has the characters act kind of stupid sometimes. Sometimes not, but there's a handful of times where they do. And I don't know, you just kind of got to take it like that comes with horror films. Otherwise, you won't have a movie. So, but still have to point that out. Otherwise, yeah, still just not the biggest fan of horror myself personally. So nothing against this. I thought it was, yeah, so like my personal enjoyment is still kind of limited just since it lives inside the horror category. And then there is one inconsistency I found, which isn't a big deal, but there's one character who's shown to have like a weak stomach when she sees like a roadkill on the side of the road at the beginning of the film and like kind of dry heaves a bit. So I was like, oh, I bet that's got to play up because this is a horror film. It's gonna get gory and gruesome. And they never really followed that up, which I thought was kind of weird. I'm not really sure why maybe they just forgot about it, but that was a little strange. And then lastly, while there were some good kills, I thought one of the kills felt very contrived or very convenient. Like, I don't know. It was, yeah, but it was just the one that felt that way. So you're not gonna get every single kill as a top-notch kill in every horror film, but. Yeah, just minor critiques. Overall, nothing major. So yeah, that does it for my review for X. Overall, I'd say this is a good film and one that I enjoyed, given that it's horror. Kind of condition it that way. But on a ranking from S at the top down through A, B, C, D, I would put this as a good movie on the lower side of good. So I'd give it a B. And but yeah, I'd recommend it. I think if you enjoy horror, unless I haven't seen a ton of horror, so I never know for sure if something feels rehashed or fresh in the horror genre, because my sample size is very limited. But for me, I thought it felt fresh as a horror film, and it's one that I'd recommend if you're looking for that sort of a movie with horror film, hard R rating, and that sort of thing. But yeah, with that, that wraps up our review. If you've been able to see X, let me know what your thoughts are. Did you enjoy it? Down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed this review, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe so you don't miss my next review. Alright, thanks for watching and catch you in the next video.